Stanford University ran an experiment in 1971. 24 ordinary college students. No criminal records, no psychological disorders, just regular people. Within 6 days, the guards were psychologically tormenting the prisoners. The prisoners were breaking down. The researchers had to stop it early. Nobody was forced to behave that way. Nobody was paid extra to go dark. They just did, naturally. The man who designed that experiment, Philip Zimbardo, spent the rest of his career asking one question. Not what makes people evil, but what makes ordinary people reveal what was always there. So here is what I need you to sit with. What if the darkness in human nature is not the exception? What if it is the foundation everything else is built on top of? Welcome to TheMindShadow. This channel exists for one reason: to show you what most people are too comfortable to look at. Human nature is not a mystery. It has been studied, documented, and quietly understood by the people who hold power. The problem is that understanding was never meant for you. Today that changes. We are going through 7 dark truths about human nature. Truths backed by psychology, history, and the behavior of people you already know. By the end of this video, you will not see people the same way. Some of this will be uncomfortable. That discomfort is exactly the point. Understanding darkness is not about becoming cynical. It is about becoming clear. And clarity is the only real protection you have. Truth 1. Every human being is primarily motivated by self-interest. Not sometimes, always. This is not a cynical opinion. It is the conclusion of evolutionary psychology. Robert Trivers, one of the most influential biologists of the 20th century, demonstrated that even altruism, even genuine generosity, is rooted in reciprocal benefit. The brain calculates. It does this before you are even conscious of it. When someone helps you, they are investing. When someone is loyal, they are protecting something they value. This does not make kindness fake. It makes kindness conditional. And conditions change. The moment someone's self-interest shifts, their behavior shifts with it. History is full of examples. Caesar trusted Brutus, not because Caesar was naive, because Brutus had made himself useful for long enough. The self-interest calculation eventually tipped. It always tips. The practical truth here is this: stop evaluating people by what they say they value. Watch what they protect when it costs them something. That is the only honest ledger you have. Truth 2. Most people are performing a character, not living one. Social psychologist Irving Goffman called this dramaturgical theory. He argued that all social interaction is a performance. You have a front stage, the version of yourself you show the world. Then you have a backstage, where the mask comes off. The gap between those two stages is where character actually lives. Most people's gap is enormous. The colleague who preaches fairness but quietly hoards credit. The friend who claims they want your success but subtly undermines your confidence. They are not lying to you. Not entirely. They are lying to themselves first. The performance eventually becomes the only identity they know. This is why people collapse under real pressure. There is nothing underneath the performance to hold. Truth 3. Fear is a more powerful motivator than love. You have heard the opposite your whole life. You have been told love wins, connection heals, empathy changes minds. And there is truth in that, but it is an incomplete truth. Neuroscience tells a different story. The amygdala, your brain's threat detection system, processes fear signals faster than any other emotional stimulus. Fear bypasses your rational prefrontal cortex entirely. It triggers first. It overrides later. This is not a flaw in your design. It is the design. Your ancestors who felt fear faster than the others survived. Your ancestors who paused to feel love in the face of threat did not. The implication is serious. People who understand fear-based motivation can move you without you realizing you are being moved. Political systems, advertising, social hierarchies, they are all built on this truth, not on what you want, on what you are afraid of losing. Truth 4. Human beings are tribal to a degree that defies reason. Henri Tagefel's social identity theory showed something deeply uncomfortable. You do not need real differences between groups to create hostility. You just need categories. In his famous minimal group experiments, he divided people into groups based on nothing. Arbitrary coin flips, meaningless preferences. Within minutes, people were favoring their group and undermining the other. No history, no grievance, just the existence of an us and a them. This is operating inside you right now, in how you interpret news, in how you judge strangers, in who you instinctively trust and who you do not. The tribe instinct does not respond to logic. You cannot argue someone out of tribalism with evidence, because tribalism was never about truth, it was about belonging. And belonging, to the brain, feels like survival. Truth 5. Most people will obey authority even when it violates their conscience. You probably know about Stanley Milgram's obedience experiments. You probably think you would have stopped. 65% of participants did not stop. They administered what they believed were lethal electric shocks to a stranger, simply because an authority figure told them to continue. Here is what most people miss about that study. The participants were not monsters. They were visibly distressed. Many were crying, some were shaking. But they kept going. Milgram called this the agentic state, a psychological condition where you temporarily surrender your personal moral judgment to an authority structure. This happens in corporations, in relationships, in governments. Someone who understands this truth can place themselves in the authority position deliberately. A confident posture, precise language, an implied hierarchy. These are not just personality traits, they are leverage points. If you are not aware of when you have entered an agentic state, you will not realize you have surrendered your judgment until the damage is done. Truth 6. Humans will rationalize almost any behavior to protect their self-image. Leon Festinger's cognitive dissonance theory established this clearly. When your actions conflict with your self-perception, your brain does not correct the action. It rewrites the story. The person who betrayed you did not tell themselves they were doing something wrong. They told themselves you deserved it, or that they had no choice, or that it was for the greater good. This is not weakness. It is a feature of consciousness. The brain protects the ego with extraordinary creativity. The practical implication is this: do not expect people to admit what they have done. Do not wait for the confession that makes the story clean. The story was already rewritten. What you witnessed and what they believe happened are now two different events. Truth 7. This is the one that reframes everything. Here is the open loop I left at the start. Those Stanford students who turned dark, Zimbardo did not just study them as perpetrators, he studied himself. He was the prison superintendent in that experiment, and he realized something that took him decades to say publicly. He had been corrupted by the system too. He had watched abuse happen and rationalized it as data collection. He was part of the darkness he was studying. That is the seventh truth. You are not immune. None of us are. The same wiring that allows humans to perform, to obey, to rationalize, to fear, to self-serve, that wiring is in you. The danger is not out there in other people. The danger is in the assumption that understanding these truths makes you exempt from them. It does not. What it does is give you something most people never get. Awareness before the moment. The ability to catch yourself in the pattern before the pattern completes. That is not cynicism. That is the only real form of self-mastery that exists. Not controlling others. Recognizing yourself in the mirror that human nature holds up. Most people look away from that mirror their whole lives. You just chose not to. These 7 truths are not comfortable. They were never meant to be. But comfort is not what protects you. Clarity does. If this video shifted something in how you see people, including yourself, then it did exactly what it was supposed to do. Subscribe to TheMindShadow. Every week we go deeper into the psychology that most channels will not touch. If you found this valuable, share it with someone who is ready to stop being naive about human nature. The comment section is open. Tell me which of these 7 truths hit closest to home. I read them. I always do. Until next time, I'll see you in the shadows.